Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news and plenty to discuss today. The second round of matches went down last night in the VCT North American playoffs. Some major results and a crazy bracket we have ahead of us over these coming days. But also ShahZaM describing why Sentinels are falling short at the present time. Very much intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this pretty funny clip actually from Sinatraa stream after this opening break really that the guard had right here up against Sentinels. Basically saying, okay, Sentinels have won this series. Not how it works out. The guard also played last night. We shall dive into here in a few minutes time. Firstly, some roster stuff to discuss. A Proto will be playing with Ghost Gaming, it seems, in the upcoming Knights Monthly Gauntlet. Of course, begins March 21st, which is tomorrow. But yeah, still some games in the playoffs to go down today, and then we have a few days off. Then it goes again next weekend. The bracket, as I say, is shaping up for absolute chaos. We shall dive into this. Also then from T1. So sources with Purist as George Geddes. T1 has recently practiced without 7, right? So 7, this player who wasn't 100 Thieves on their bench for a time, like considered one of the hottest prospects in the scene. I believe he's only 16, 17 years old right now, so definitely is still a very young player. But they've decided he's going to be out of there. Like, he was on the team for a while, didn't really quite have the performance I guess they were looking for. So far, T1 and 100 Thieves really have these kind of new rosters that formed this past off season. Pretty been kind of the worst of the North American bunch, to be perfectly honest. Apparently he's going to be on his way out of the team. T1 even described soon after the fact, right? Unfortunately, 7 will be moved to the inactive roster. The choice was made mutually between both parties. We have strong hopes he'll find a team that aligns with him during this time. So they are looking to shift him on, get him out of there, looking for a replacement. Not sure who's actually going to come through. But 7 goes on to describe, as of now, I'm looking for a team as a restricted free agent. Very thankful for my time over at T1. I have nothing but gratitude towards them and wish them the best. Comfortable on most roles. So yeah, he's looking for another opportunity. Maybe 100 Thieves getting back right, who knows? Before we dive into the playoffs games that went down last night, wanted to mention this real quick here from ShahZaM and the Sentinels guys, because they play later on today in what is going to be a very difficult matchup for them. They have, honestly, probably the hardest bracket you're ever going to see in this lower side of the bracket. Of course, dropping down to losers after their loss to the guards. They said, look, it's embarrassing. GG's, well played to the guard, but yeah, definitely not where they want to be right now. An interesting interview actually came up with ShahZaM kind of discussing what he thinks went wrong in that series. And well, as he describes right here, I always told my team, even when we were on this dominant run, that this moment will not last. We have to always try our best. This I thought was quite the interesting statement. I'll leave the entire article link for you guys down below. Right now, I'm not even sure we are trying our best, and it's disheartening. It feels like we are playing not to lose instead of to win. We look lost and are no longer taking those duels we used to win, especially compared to last year. It is just not the same. So this is a very interesting statement actually, not even trying our best, he says. I guess maybe it's kind of due to this whole thing of playing not to lose instead of to win. I guess maybe he feels like the pressure has got to such a degree, which it has, I suppose, to a point, right? Sentinels, massive fan base, always a lot of intrigue in this team and how they're performing and how good they were and how well good they are certainly not at the present time. And the fact that they're going into this series just kind of already preparing for the Twitter warfare that's going to happen if they lose the series, right? And therefore thinking, okay, we can't lose this, guys. If we go down in a certain situation, getting their heads a little bit. And this well, it's not necessarily a recipe for success anyway. Just the team seems to be way less coordinated than it could be. And tonight they play version 1 in a series where they are pretty much expected resoundingly to lose the series. It's not too rare that teams like Sentinels go into series as clear underdogs. But in fairness, they were against the guard, and they certainly are tonight. If they lose tonight, they'll go out double first round in this tournament alongside either Knight or Exit that we will dive into. And if that happens, questions are seriously going to be raised, right? Because of course they're going to come back, you would imagine, next stage as well. Not making it through to Masters, obviously, it'd be a big disappointment for this team, but it seems like it's probably going to happen right now. And of course, if they don't make it through, then you've got to think, okay, what is the solution here? Is a coaching staff change necessary? Is just a mindset refresh necessary? Or for that to actually happen, as ShahZaM is saying, their mindset isn't in the greatest place right now. Do you actually need the roster change to have that effect? Who knows? Definitely intrigued to your perspective on this one in the comment section below. Let's dive then into the 2 series that went down last night. So the massive one in the upper bracket was OpTic Gaming versus Cloud9. Cloud9 survived the kind of scare a couple of days ago, as did OpTic, to be honest, in their first round games. Then they play up against each other. OpTic very well prepared for this one. Game 1 on Ascent. What a series this was, to be honest. Game 1 here on Haven. Ye had a phenomenal Haven for the OpTic guys. Look at this. Vanity diffuses, gets hit through. Honestly, can't believe they didn't get rid of him there. But yeah, 11-9. But OpTic bounced back on their offensive side. Some great rounds here from Ye, gets it to 11-10. And then after this one, OpTic will manage to bounce back, send it to overtime, and win the overtime as well. So a phenomenal performance from OpTic on this game 1. They really came to play. They seemed very well prepared for this one. And Cloud9, despite really looking comfortably the best North American team in the world, not all that long ago, right, during the regular stage, now OpTic are coming here and, well, they're here to play, no doubt. Goes to the game 2. They win this one 14-12. Game 2, though, goes very comfortably the way of Cloud9. They had a good defensive side. They closed it out on their T side without too much issue. issue. And yeah, Leaf on this map was just out of control. Like Leaf, what a player this guy is. Honestly, the Leaf versus Ye battle this series was just something to watch. Like they didn't play Leaf in the corner, and then well, that's basically going to spell the end of them. I have no idea how Ye did get that kill, to be honest, but it works out for them in the end. And yeah, Cloud9, they bounce back, and this is where you're thinking, okay, game 3, like there's been so many map 3s already this tournament between two great teams. It's just some of these series are absolutely absurd. Honestly, this round shouldn't have been a one that OpTic lost. Offense is generally pretty damn good on this map, of course, here on Fracture. But yes, in the end, they lose it. Cloud9 take this map. They take it all the way to Ascent. And early on here, OpTic get a nice advantage. They kind of Cloud9 fought back to some degree. But then, honestly, a pretty decisive finish in this game. OpTic, once they got onto the defensive side, they won a lot of crucial rounds. They take out this series 13-8 in the end. Cloud9 go down. And after Cloud9 looked somewhat vulnerable in their first series up against, it was up against the Knights, right? They won that one 2-1. OpTic come through and drop them down to the lower bracket, which just create an absolutely absurd situation in our bracket right now. It's not exactly out of question. Of course, this is a former Envy team. Cloud9, a lot of people would say Cloud9 number 1, Envy number 2, or OpTic number 2 now, at least in terms of crucial games, right? The guard looked fantastic, no doubt, but in big pressure situations, for say a LAN environment, these maybe would be the two teams that people would expect to come to the top. And Cloud9 go down to lower. They are going to have to fight very hard indeed to make it through, because they are going to have some difficult matches down there. There is no doubt about it. Vanity says lower bracket starts next Thursday. That is exactly the case. We'll dive into the bracket here in a few minutes' time. FNS, I believe it was actually his birthday yesterday. Give me the guard, he says. And what this means for OpTic is that they have now got through. They're clutched up against Cloud9. They will play the guard in the next round, and the winner of that matchup gets all the way through to Masters confirmed. So the winner of that one gets to the grand finals. That solidifies the spot. OpTic or the guard will be going to Masters. Potentially both of them, depending on how the bracket works out. Cloud9 versus OpTic, 2-1 in the end. Of course, look at the overall series stats. Leaf 67-51, Ye 60-42, on the Chamber and the Jet, as you might well expect. Haven goes 12-14 in favor of OpTic Gaming. What a nice little comeback OpTic had on the second half here. So many rounds in a row for Cloud9 at a point. Fracture 13-5 in favor of Cloud9. Leaf bounced back pretty emphatically on that one, as we saw, but then 13-8 with so many CT rounds in a row here for OpTic. They bounced back pretty emphatically. Again, a similar story to that game 1, where OpTic take it on the defensive side. And again, what a performance from those guys. They move on. The next series of the day, of course, was the guard versus LG. A series I felt like the guard probably should win, but LG were very solid yesterday, no doubt. And honestly, Sire player, man. This guy is so incredible. It's just absurd. Watching him play is just so much fun. I don't know how T1 managed to nerf him so hard with the whole spider name nerf or whatever, but ever since he's become Sire player again, this guy's out of control. Just watching him with the op is so much fun. On the Jet, of course, or even if he's not on the Jet, right, and he's on the race as he is right here, always a good time. The guard, after a close fought affair, they managed to close this out in the end on the CT side. Then going into the game 2 Icebox, this was pretty dominant. So yes, what we expected to see from the guard, they get through this series. They will face OpTic in the next round of winners. And the lower bracket is obviously very stacked. As Yona P says, one more for Iceland. Let's go. 2-0 versus Luminosity. The overall series stats look like this. The guard Binder goes 13-10 with 13-5 on the second map. Pretty dominant series victory, all things considered. Sire player a casual 45-27 for the victory. But not to discount the performance from the rest of the guys as well, because all across the board right now, the guard look very strong. And we'll see how they fare against OpTic, right? Because they lost to Cloud9 in their final game in the regular stage. So you would think, okay, maybe against a team like OpTic, team like Cloud9, they're going to struggle the most. But so far, the guard have looked very good indeed. This is now the lower bracket, right? So as George points out, we've got Knights Xsets going on today, version 1 Sentinels going on today. The winner of version 1 Sentinels plays Cloud9. So going into this tournament, my prediction was, I think a lot of people's prediction was, that Cloud9 and version 1 were probably the favourites to walk away with it, or at least, they're probably the two favourites to be in the grand final, and actually will get the 2 spots for Masters, because both these teams, I'm pretty sure, went undefeated in the regular stage. So far, that has not worked out at all. We've got OpTic versus the guard, as I say. The winner of this one goes all the way through to the grand final. They will guarantee their qualification to Masters, and then the lower bracket is absolutely stacked. The real upset that kind of threw the bracket off was that Luminosity beating version 1. If that doesn't happen, then this team is LG, and then maybe version 1 is here, or version 1 is here, who knows, and then you could get a bracket that doesn't look like this in the lower sides. But what this means is that only one of version 1 Sentinels or Cloud9 can even make it through, and there's a likelihood that none of them do, given that, how difficult this bracket run is going to be. Of course, out of the 6 teams that are currently lower round 1, lower round 2, they will then match up in lower round 3, and then the lower finals will be between the loser of, OpTic or the guard, and whoever makes it out of this absolute gauntlet in the lower side. So it's going to be a massive challenge. Tonight, of course, Knights play Xsets. I don't know, I feel like Xsets is still slightly the stronger team. Who knows what's going to happen there? I feel like LG should beat both of those teams, to be honest, at least on current form. But I think Xset do have a reasonable chance of getting all the way through to lower round 3. And then, of course, tonight's games are version 1 Sentinels and Knights versus Xset. To me, version 1 are going to take this 2-0. I wasn't happy at all with the way Sentinels Sentinels played a couple of days ago against the Guards. Feel like V1, this is their time to bounce back. But then, of course, they're going to have to play Cloud9 in a few days' time. And one of the teams will go out in lower round 2. Remarkable situation. Who do you guys think is going to qualify in the comment section below? To me, I feel like Cloud9 might still make the run here and make it to the grand finals. But, I mean, still, you've got to think that OpTic and the Guards right now look like very strong bets to be both the teams that make it through from the North American side. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button tells the YouTube god this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And hope grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
Guy smokes down aftershock. Just from the outside. Op shot landed the face of Vanity to even at the odds now. A 4v4 hitting the retake with Cloud9. Working against the clock. They're going to have to pull the trigger as Ye's giving up the angle out towards long. Mitch to push through the smoke. Leaf here as well, but they're all starting to get cut down. It's all up to Dephh, and he's not going to do it. It's Ye for 3.
They will be on this left and 5. They want to fight aggressively for A main, but Victor immediate on the punish. Sure, Zyppan can line up too, but wait a minute. They're not clearing Leaf. You have to clear Leaf, but he runs out of ammunition. It gets so awkward, but out of nowhere, Leaf pulls it out. The classic for the thrifty round to Cloud9. Slating a duel here is huge.
Routed step up the sidewalk. Dark cover to go down. Ye no longer on the operator. Oh no, but I think Vanity was spotted out. Crashes the next to Pete. He's just trying to sneak away, but he gets caught on the lip. He's got 28 HP in the bullets. They just go over the top, but it doesn't matter. Crashes will close it out. There's no way to hang on. And OpTic have done it. They dethrone the Kings, and they're one step closer to representing North America at Iceland.